crew of the 161. What is going on, everybody? Hope you're all doing well. Happy Saturday night. We got a good baseball game. NLCS right now. Zach is outdueling Zach. The Phillies have a 2-0 lead over the Diamondbacks. And if anybody who's going to stop this momentum that Arizona's built up over the last two games, it's Zach Wheeler. And hopefully the Phillies will not bring in a Craig Kimbrell, who's kind of been their kryptonite last couple days. His own team's kryptonite, but they should have enough. First and foremost, I want to give the deepest sympathies and condolences to Dev Finch. Lost his dad today. His dad passed away. So anybody sees him, okay, please don't hesitate to send your love and condolences and sympathies and whatnot. Just want to send him some love. But I'm here. Shout out to everybody here right now. We got Mike up in here. We got Jonathan. Oh, there goes Dev. Dev, man. I'm so very, very sorry, man. Really. Don't feel obligated to spend all night with us, but if it's therapeutic for you, do what you need to do. Obviously, I condone deepest sympathies and condolences to yourself and your family for the loss. It's tough. I lost my dad a couple years ago. It's not easy. Billy, here he is. Clemens is in the house, and a fee. The enforcer's in the house. Top of the evening, gang. But we got your back, Dev. We got Sunil's in the house, Mr. Pickleball himself, Dr. Pickleball. Yeah. Yes, indeed. So right now, yeah, Craig Kimbrell. It's 2-0 Phillies right now. I think we're in the fifth inning. So, and it's just the type of win that the Phillies would need if they're able to pull this off, and then they head back to Philadelphia up 3-2, and they're in a good spot. Just like Houston Astros now are heading back to Houston up 3-2. So it's tough. 14. Yeah, I lost my dad 6 years ago. My dad. So very, very sorry to hear it. Tomorrow you're taking your nephew to the Giants game. Nice. Nice, Davey. Yeah, nice, dude. Yeah, I wish they were playing better right now instead of 1-5. But you know what? It'll still be a good game, no matter what. No matter what. Let's get them likes up, everybody, by the way. We'll try to get to 100 likes if we can. What memorable football games? Went to a Jets-Giants game a couple years ago. A bunch of years ago, actually. I went with my uncle when MetLife first opened. And I don't remember what year it was, but we sat at the 30-yard line. We're in the second row. And the Jets won that game. But the most memorable part about it was right in front of us. We were in row 2 and row 1, James Gandolfini. Tony Soprano. He's a big Jets fan sitting right in front of us. Okay? And he's a giant man. Was a giant man. Huge hands. He's a big Jets fan. He has a big Carhartt's jacket on and a skull cap. And he was pumped up like the rest of the fans. He high-fived him a bunch of times. He was a nice guy. A really nice guy. And a diehard football fan. So that's the most memorable. I've been to a bunch of Eagles games, Davey, and I've been to a couple of I've been to one playoff game, but it's been a while. An Eagles football playoff game a couple years ago. Hoping to be more football games now. So I definitely want to get the football channel over 1,000 subscribers so we can start live streaming there too, because that'll be fun. That'll be a lot of fun. But the Gandolfini was a bouncer. I did hear that. So NFE, by the way, a couple of guys that I teach martial arts with, they work security for the Eagles games. And if you're familiar with the Eagles games, like they have the security, and then they have the Gestapo, which is those are the Secret Service agents, whatever you want to call them. These guys are all ex-Intel, Navy SEAL Special Forces, Secret Service, like combat experts. That's when if there's a fight there, you page the Gestapo, and they're there in like a few seconds, like 10 of them. And those are the last. You got a bunch of Jack Reachers and a bunch of John Wicks there, and that's the last group of people you want on you at these games. For those that don't know, at the old Philadelphia Stadium, there used to be a jail at the bottom of the stadium, underneath the grounds. There was a court. They take you there, and if you went in, they send you to jail underneath the game. I don't think they have that now, but Gandolfini was huge. Paulie Walnuts is a cool guy. I actually met him. So I went to the opening night of Jersey Boys. My mom used to work on the Broadway theaters, and the opening night of Jersey Boys, we met Frankie Valli, the fourth season. Met the entire cast from The Sopranos was there, which was cool. I met Paulie Walnuts, Meadow, all of them at the bar during intermission. So really cool. Really, really cool. Yeah, I mean, these guys, they don't mess around, man. And these people are a lot of drunk and rowdy football fans at these games. So, yeah, yeah, man. Nah, they had some Johnny Lawrences, but not Creason. Creason Silver are whack, dirty asses. These guys are, if I put it in perspective, you're looking at more of Chael Sonnens and Fedor Emelianenkos and those types of guys instead of the Creason Silvers. Like, these guys are next level fighters. Like, these guys will kick your ass. So, and they will relish in that too. So if they get the page, just watch out. Get out of the way. It's pretty crazy. Happy birthday to you happy early birthday to your mom, Dev. Yeah, Yankee Stadium never had a jail in the Bronx, unfortunately. So, not that I've heard of, Davey. I mean, it's been central booking a long time ago, but I'm not sure if that was Yankee Stadium or not. I never heard of that one. Oh, by the way, let me get this here. I'm putting the link for open panel. If anybody wants to hop on, you're welcome to. The link is, what the hell is it? There it is. Did I know the fighter Derek Panza? Nah, I didn't know Derek Panza was. I did not. I did see that NFE. John Jones, the last guy I want to get tackled with a fight and defending his property, man. That guy's one of the baddest men alive. Very cool, Schmidt. Very cool, Chris. All right. We got Jonathan in the place. What's happening, man?
And Jason, it's been a while since I've done an open panel with you.
We got Dr. Pickleball here, so
Going on?
Outside the courts, it's like.
Yeah. I told you I was going to give you a cameo over here, just to show you the green M&M does exist.
1 second, Carl. You coach CBA in Lincroft? Carl Porcia?
You got some action going on here.
I coached high school, I coached college, and I coach post college. I have a running channel too. But congratulations to you guys. If you're at CBA New Jersey, you guys put 513 at Vancouver Park at Manhattan College Invite. So kudos to you. And CBA is one of the better programs on the East Coast, better programs in the country, especially this year. So, Carl, really, well done, man. Well done. Yeah, let's definitely talk. I'd love to have you on my running channel, Carl. So you're more than welcome to come on. I'd love to have a live stream with you.
I guess my number one question today is, who thinks Cashman really is going to do anything positive this offseason?
I do. There he is. Clemens is in the house.
No doubt.
I think that Cal has gotten the vibe and the hint that they have to make some moves. Now,
Hal is supposed to.
I'm going to stay in reality. I'm not going to follow the fans. Certain fans have these unrealistic expectations. I had Bobby Malone last night, for those that haven't heard. We were talking about the Yankees' finances and spending, and he gave a deep dive of inside stuff from Yankee people themselves onto this information going on out there. Like, just like today, what do you call it? The foul territory.
Scott Braun and
Yeah, it's got born on. Gary Sheffield Jr. put out this tweet, and anybody that takes him seriously.
I watched that video with you, and I didn't realize how much debt the Yankees have. But
Ridiculous that people don't know. People just assume they're swimming in money and they can do whatever they want whenever they want. It's
that,
not like that. That's why I've said this repeatedly, but it falls on deaf ears a lot of times. So because there's so much bullshit being spread by so many other channels, right? So that's why I wanted to have him on here so that people can get a deeper understanding of the money situation and why things are the way they are.
But in that case, that is why I would, if I was the Yankees with that debt, I would lock up a young player that I had enough confidence, like the Braves do. Lock up a young player for 7 or 8 years at $10 million a year, and if you're lucky, he could be the next Aaron Judge, Acuna, or someone who can be very helpful.
I do think I would agree with that too. And there he is. There he is. The info. Look at him. He looks like John Wick at nighttime.
No, he looks like Emperor Palpatine.
Look at this. That's John Wick right below me, right there. That is fucking John Wick.
John Wick had long hair.
Don't tell anybody.
No. That's not John Wick. That looks like Emperor Palpatine.
You put a black suit on and play the and he's just walking down the street. Go to the cross the street. I would cross the street.
The force pains within you.
But this is what I'm talking about. Like Sheffield Jr. put out this tweet saying that Yankees could just eat Stanton's $100 million contract. I like it, no problem. I can't take that seriously. I don't think anybody can. The guys at Fox Territory laughed at it too.
Well, there is one reason why I think they will never do it, because starting, I think, in 26, the Marlins pay part of that contract.
Well, that's true. Yeah. And it goes from 90-something million to 120-something million over the next 4 years. By keeping them here, they're essentially saving $10 million a year. And if you can get, and like people like just a different type of perspective. People are saying, oh, we can't get rid of what do you call it? Gleyber Torres' offense and blah blah blah.
I honestly think Gleyber Torres should be traded.
I understand. Yeah, I agree, and I understand we can replace his offense in a lot of different ways.
And we have a lot of infielders in the minors.
Yes, and Garrett and Giancarlo Stanton misses 60 games, and he still puts up the same amount of home runs that Gleyber Torres puts up. Missing 60 games every year.
Yeah.
So,
and the other reason why I trade Torres is I don't think the Yankees should sign him to a long-term deal after next year.
Well, I agree. I mean, look, if they do, they do. I'm not going to complain if they keep him, but if you have enough go ahead, Senor.
We need consistency on both sides of the ball from Torres. Offense, we know he what he's capable of. Defense, he's Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde at times.
Yep.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
If you're gonna let Gary Sanchez go because of defensive lapses, then you've got to be looking at the same thing with Gleyber Torres.
Exactly.
Yeah, his
But
defense.
they also screwed up Sanchez's swing when they tried to change him.
Yep.
Now, how are we still eating some of? Oh, God forbid, Carl Pavano's money?
No.
No.
That was only a
Not
4-year deal.
Okay.
We're eating Hicks' money right now.
Whose money?
Aaron Hicks.
Oh my God. Are we bringing about preparation, man? Come on, man. Let's stop. Let's stop with the Hicks talk. I know we're eating the money. I'm not denying what you're saying, but I thought that's the last we heard of that name.
Don't worry, the Yankees are not going to give money like the Mets give to Bobby Bonilla.
No.
I know. Yeah, when is that expiring? 2035?
2035, I think.
Jesus, 2035. So that's like that's another 12 years. I'll be freaking 62 by then.
He's making like $1 million a year for the next 37 years. Some like ridiculous
I think
amount.
it's 1.1 million.
1.1. It's like, what the goddamn, like, my God. So, Carl, we talk a little bit about the debt. So, Carl, I mean, they financed their own stadium for the most part, and they had a bigger share than usually. It's generally subsidized at almost a 50% rate by the city. The Yankees have taken on more debt too. They bought back the Yes Network. Okay, which is $3.5 billion.
Mm-hmm.
They have all these expenditures, and they also have all these investors that they have to pay out. And when you break down that and the debt that they're already paying with their stadium and the revenue sharing that they give, which this is forgotten by a lot of people, they pay between 10 and 50% of their annual revenues in their annual money in revenue sharing. So if they make $700 million, they're paying at least $70 million a year out to teams who pocket the money.
So,
But how much of the money is coming back from, God forbid, star insurance?
$25 million a year.
what
Yeah.
can
So
the, what can the Yankees do to stop revenue sharing to prevent revenue sharing?
It's got to be agreed upon in the CBA.
Yeah, because every other team is making too much money from collecting money from the Yankees and the Dodgers and whomever else has to pay it. So
and I was talking to Bobby about this. There's an economic reform committee that's put together. They're trying to get 23 out of 30 owners to vote on a proposal they can put forth on the floor.
I heard that. I heard the conversation you have, and I agree. One thing that you said: if the teams do not spend the money from revenue sharing to improve their team, they should forfeit that money and give it back to the teams they paid them.
Yeah,
yeah.
Forfeit prospects.
Exactly.
Draft pick.
Or forfeit a number one draft pick to the team.
Yeah.
I don't know. Give them some compensation for not using the money.
Mm-hmm. Oh, it's 4-0 now. Phillies are up 4-0 now. Price up right on one. Go Phillies, man. But this is the type of stuff that this is why I bring it up in certain conversations, because I think it's important to give us a little bit of deeper perspective on this stuff, because it's so much. It's so much easy. It's so easy to say, oh, they can. Do you have any idea how ridiculous it sounds to say, oh, they can eat $100 million? Like, say it 10 times. It's fucking ridiculous.
Well, and I think people
wow,
are still
Jason dropping F-bombs.
I think people are still remembering George Steinbrenner.
I think
he would be willing to do deals that would put him in the hole financially if he thought it would make the Yankees better. Hal,
But does anyone else?
Hal all we want, but he's a little bit more astute than that. So
before 1998, the Yankees didn't even have the top payroll. I believe it was the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, they've had the top payroll like 70 or 80% of the last year.
Yeah, since 98 was the first year they had the top payroll, and they have
the last 20 years or something like that. They've had the highest payroll.
Yeah, I think only 1 or 2 years the Dodgers passed them.
Dodgers, the Mets, and I think maybe the Red Sox once, but like other than that, it's been the Yankees. So, and they consistently pay more than any other team in baseball for revenue sharing. So, right off the bat, you got to chop off whatever the revenue they make. Like, and I don't know how. Go ahead.
So Jason, talking about the whole finances thing, I've heard they've got this partnership going with Paddle, Padel. How much of money are they, shedding out for that?
I don't know what the hell that is.
That's basically a paddleball sport that they've basically got up into a partnership that's big in Europe, and it's going to be all across New York City, apparently.
Now, let me ask you a question. Are you being truthful, or is this pickleball trash talk?
No, this is not anything to do with pickle whatsoever.
I heard something about that. They had a partnership in Europe.
Yeah.
I thought it was a soccer team.
No, well, actually, no. The soccer team is MLS with NYCFC. That was all the way back in 2009.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to look into this paddleball thing, and if I find any intel, I'm going to put it out tomorrow if I find any intel.
Yeah. So basically, what you want to Google in 2 simple words is Yankees, Padel, and maybe you can put the word partnership or whatever. You'll find plenty of information on that tonight, because it was just recently announced later on during the 23 season. I heard about it.
Yes, it's true. Yankees joined forces with A1 Paddle to bring tournaments.
Yeah, that's exactly the one I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Paddle, Padel?
Correct.
Padel.
With A1 Paddle to bring tournament to the U.S. They joined forces. This is August 15, 2023.
Yes, that's the article I saw.
Paddle is one of the world's fastest growing sports. So, let me see. Global
So how much
sport.
of so how my question is how much of financial burden is this going to be on them if they're really sinking in debt and all these you know uh
It
you
says
know
here,
contracts?
Yankees team president Randy Levine said he was drawn to Pastor as a potential partner and to A1's paddle success in Europe and other markets. But there's no financial parameters shared in this article, so I don't
So this,
know.
so this is what I'm saying. It basically warrants some digging to see if there's any financial implications here, because if they're sinking in all of these, you know, bad contracts and other debt forms of sort, then why are they doing stuff like this when they could be investing in their own product? Is really the speculation that arises here. If it goes that line, we don't know for sure. This is just again a very hypothetical question. There's no justification to think this, but we want to be sure that this is not being very repercussive at the same time.
It also says they're investing in a paddleball sport, so they're going to make some money out of it.
Exactly.
That's what's going. I got to think at some point they're not going to do a deal if they're not going to get some kind of revenue out of it.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, I mean, it's just.
And I don't even know what they did with the $25 million from a fucking patch.
I don't know. I don't know. I have no idea. In all honesty. No
So
idea.
quick sidebar, Billy. How far are you from Unity? That's where I am right now. Heads up.
oh, I'm home. I'm in Current. So
Oh yeah. That's probably a good 10-15 minute drive. Okay.
yeah. So
Yeah. I was just gonna say, man, maybe we could be on stream together down here.
David, you have a lot of active debt, hundreds of millions every year. So
Exactly.
most I think they're just sitting on $200 or $300 million in play money.
they're not.
Mm-hmm.
It's baloney. It's propaganda.
Yeah.
So they can't just
Yeah.
go out and say Bellinger and Soto and this them and that one.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
emotionally they can, but mathematically they really can't right now.
Sounds
But-
like. So they're going to have to make a choice at some point. They're going to have
Make
to
a choice, and this is where trading tours and non-tendering a bunch of guys comes into play, because then you can knock another 30 or 40 million off the books, and that's where you can get your Juan Soto, right?
The Yankees have to be creative with their roster. That's one thing they're bad at doing. I don't know the last time they made a creative trade that benefited them for the long term.
Well, and I'll say this. Speaking of Bobby Troy, this is the first time they've had a farm this deep in a while.
Yeah,
The pitching prospects
probably
are-
since
So this is a prime opportunity for them to do what the Braves did. Basically lock up their youngsters who they can depend on, that they can form a great core around, and start that building up that entire core like they did in the '90s and what the Braves are doing right now.
So here's another question. If you were going to lock up Volpe after this year, how much money do you give him and how many years do you give him?
depends what kind of year he has next year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I'm thinking, if it's even a marginal improvement, he ended up what 215 this year as a batting average.
If he bats
20
260 with 25 home runs, 25 steals.
I give him probably 8 years, 120 million. That's 15
I'd be
million.
okay. I'd be okay if his batting average
years
went up
on
at the cost of his home run.
Yeah, if it went up, I might even go at an 18 AAV, 18 a year, 18 million a year for.
And
Yeah.
Yeah.
what would you do? What would you do if Jason Dominguez came back and won Rookie of the Year next year?
Well, he's only going to be playing half the year. Is that going to be enough service time to do it?
Yeah, it's true.
Plus,
He's not coming back till like the All-Star break anyway, or around the trade deadline.
I'm safely guessing a little after the All-Star break, just to be modest and give him enough time, because I'm thinking they're not going to want to rush him.
So around August.
Really outfielder.
Late July into August, yes.
Yeah.
And his service time clock hasn't started yet. He was a September call-up, and he's going to be like a July call-up next year. So it's essentially his first pre-arb year won't be until 2025.
Right.
They have time.
But if they're talking about Rookie of the Year, will he have enough time next year to do that? No.
No, you won't be eligible. You won't be eligible.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So
So taking what was talked about as far as what the Yankees' debt is and whatnot, the fact that they called up Peraza and some more
Mhm.
kids at the end of the season when it was clear that they were out of the race makes even more sense because at the very least you give these guys playing time. I got to be honest. I mean, I was pretty suspect. I know Jason, you've been talking about Peraza a lot. He showed me something. He didn't set the world on fire,
No.
but he
Mhm.
he got some hits and
Yeah.
he made some plays. So I
Yep.
got to think that they're going to give Peraza the same kind of leeway that they gave Volpe
They've got. I
last
mean,
year and see what they got.
yeah,
And
and
at
then
this
go ahead.
at this point, you need to give Florial his due as well.
I don't think Florial will be on the team next year.
I don't think he will be either.
So that brings me to my next point. The most immediate thing the Yankees need to think about is the Rule 5 draft.
Yeah.
I agree.
And for the Rule 5 draft, that's why I dropped Florial. Because there are better players to protect.
Yep. He's
And
got.
when
He's not
is
option
that?
here.
Next month or the first
I,
week in March?
I have some dates here. Let me put this out. So you
I think
see
it's during the winter meeting, the first week in December.
So, yeah, you got the GM meetings first are November 8th to the 10th. In that same span, they're going to announce the Cy Young Award between November 8th and November 10th. We're still waiting for some other dates, like manager, the rookie, or the MVP. Those dates haven't been confirmed. The first date after the World Series is starts the 5-day exclusive period where teams can
Mhm.
re-sign their own free agents.
Mhm.
After that 5-day period, then they can sign with other teams. There's unrestricted free agency after 5 days. But generally, that starts off slow with a drip and drab, and then the winter meetings is kind of the big action where really things really start to pick up. But that's just after the GM meeting. So you have the contract option decisions. So they got to decide who's going to get options and not. November 10th. So we'll find out who's going to be optioned and blah, blah, blah. And the non-tender deadline, November 17th. So we'll find out who's going to be non-tendered by the 17th.
So
And
Jason,
go ahead.
so if we were to define this Yankee offseason in one line or less, no Soto, only Yamamoto. Does that sound fair and accurate, or do you have a different thought?
I think I'm going to go Yamamoto plus.
Yamamoto plus who?
I don't know.
Who do you figure?
I'm hoping Soto.
A
but
lot of there's. Go ahead.
Honestly, I don't see how Torres did not get traded. I don't see Torres on the team next year. That's
I
my
don't either. Torres makes
I
it
agree.
easier for them to go after a guy like Soto. Yes, it's going to cost a lot of money. Yes, it's going to cost a big contract. We know this already, right? But this is an opportunity for Borden. There's only been 2 players in history who have gotten 2 10-year plus contracts.
yeah.
A-Rod and Manny Machado. Okay, and this could be Soto. Soto could be another 3. He can get a 10-year deal. He can opt out after 5 and get another one at 30. So
That second A-Rod contract is what kicked Hank out of basically decision making.
yeah,
Yeah.
he overruled Cashman, who had a trade in place for A-Rod. He overruled him, and then he gave him a 10-year.
I think Jared Weaver was part of that trade.
Jared Weaver, Chone Figgins, I think Darren Erstadt, and a couple other guys.
Yeah,
A-Rod.
so what would the Yankees be like if they made that trade instead of re-signing A-Rod?
I don't know.
It would be no A-Rod, no steroids, a lot less money.
I don't know.
And
Would they have won the
team
World
that
Series? I
and a
don't know.
team that could have turned piss into buttermilk. I mean, that could have been something worth looking at.
And John, you would also be talking about somebody who wouldn't be bitching about his number 13 being given to Joey frickin' Gallo, who's dead, from my cousin
God.
Vinny. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. But
As
Gallo's dead. But Gallo's dead.
I said it. I said it.
the number
I said it
retire
before.
is the Yankees' decision, not. I think
First of all, if I'm retiring number 13, it wouldn't be for fucking A-Rod. Sorry. It would be for Jimmy frickin' Laritz.
Jimmy Larrett.
Yes.
I was Mike Pagliarulo.
I would do it for Laritz. Game 4, 6. So was it the 7th inning? Game 4, down 6-3, and he hit an eye high Mark Waller slider.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yeah.
another thing you said a long time ago. I think it was after the 2003 season. Cashman wanted Guerrero and Steinbrenner wanted Sheffield, and
Yeah, yeah.
that was another trade and signing that
Mhm.
hurt the Yankees in the last 15 years.
And,
Yeah,
and that
Imagine,
and that
imagine
and that's
Guerrero and A-Rod in the same lineup for 10
yeah.
years.
And that's what got Junior all, that's what has got his pants up in a tizzy right now, and pissing on the Yankees. You know, little Bob Marley Jr. over there in Toronto with those freaking
Oh,
dreadlocks. Yeah.
yeah.
yeah. Unfortunately, the Yankees weren't very nice to Ken Griffey Sr. and
Well.
That's true.
Kid and Junior when he was
mm,
hanging out with his dad in the
mm,
locker room while he was playing for the Yankees.
I think George
yeah.
Steinbrenner did something at that time that
Yeah,
Well,
wasn't very helpful.
well,
yeah,
you have to unbrainwash Junior a little bit on this one. I'm talking about Vlad Guerrero Jr. here very specifically. This was 2003, 2004. We're talking about with reference to Vlad Guerrero Sr. If you look at him a good 6 seasons later, when he was playing outfield for the Rangers in that World Series against the Giants, dude, that guy was running slower than a locomotive train in
Yeah,
right field, catching, trying to field balls. You thought
literally.
Stanton was slow? Oh my God, this guy was like, you were watching, Lee Majors in slow motion without the bionic sounds.
Yeah.
sure.
By the
That's
time that happened, by the time he was a Ranger, the Rangers were using him more as a designated hitter than they were as a
Yeah,
catcher. So
yeah, but they used him in an outfield in AT&T Park, which was a huge mistake
yeah,
because
and it wasn't pretty. Yeah,
AT&T Park in right field has got space forever.
yeah,
It looks kind of like center field in Polo Grounds.
yeah.
yeah. Carl, if you're still here, does that stuff we talked about answer some of your questions? I want to make sure that we're giving you a little bit more clarity there about the article, Carl. I want to make sure that we answer on the comments. But Jonathan Ryan, shout out to Peter. Shout out to everybody in here now. CWE saying that the Yankees don't get either Soto or Yamamoto plus Bellinger. We're screwed. I wouldn't say we're screwed, but
No,
those would definitely help the Yankees.
I did read a Sports Illustrated article that was linking. I mean, it's been happening, but it came out today. Another source is saying that they're linking the Yankees to Yamamoto and Bellinger. So a lot of people are really selling high on that one.
Yeah. Wow.
So Yamamoto, I keep saying it. That is the Yankees' top priority this offseason. I
But
think they have made that
need
obvious.
a lefty bat in their lineup.
So that's what I'm saying.
They cannot go next year without having a lefty bat in their lineup.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. That they're connecting Cody Bellinger to the Yankees. Some people are real confident that they're going to sign Bellinger. To what money? I don't know. And then Yamamoto, they're saying
Confident they want to lose some draft picks because of
Yeah.
it.
well, they didn't say anything. They didn't mention anything about the draft picks. But I don't know that the Yankees want to lose draft picks.
Well, they're going to have to lose two.
So
Then how do
they pick 16 in this coming draft in the next draft. So by the way, the draft order has been released. They pick 16th in the next draft.
then how do they think?
No, I think there's going to be a lottery, so they could move up or they could move down.
If they have also any chance to add another solid lefty to their rotation, let's say like we've been contemplating for reunion with Monty, what do they need to do to basically make room for that then? If that it comes down to that, because like I've been saying, you need a balanced rotation too, in addition to all the players on offense. And don't forget, also you need better coaching here too. So we need to make some. You need to have some changes at the analytics team, the health training staff, and some of the things that basically hampered us at a coaching level this year.
Yeah, and speaking to your point too, Sunil, if they happen to get Yamamoto and Montgomery, let's just say they bring in two stars of that caliber,
Yeah.
that tells me that they're going to use their top pitching to go after Soto.
They're going to do what? Come again? You were breaking up.
That tells me they're going to use some of their top pitchers to trade
Yeah.
for Juan Soto, to try to trade
Yeah,
for one.
because you
I
need
can
a
see that,
formidable you need a formidable balanced rotation because you cannot count on Rodon to have a completely clean bill of health. You can count on it to be better than what it was in 2023, but it won't perfectly clean. I'm not, depending on that. After what I saw in 23, I'm a little skeptical about that.
Yeah,
If he proves me wrong, so be it. I'll walk back what was just said. But I think any Yankee fan can legitimately look at 23's clinical, bill of health on Rodon and say he's not going to be 2009 TC or anything even close.
I'm going to hold my breath on that one. Wait.
I
Yeah.
sent I sent you a link in the private chat to about the draft lottery.
All right. I'll check it out, Jonathan. Thank you.
Yeah.
There's another comment from JJ. I won't trade for Soto away from. So NFE and Tats were talking about this yesterday, right? On the Pinstripe Chronicles in the morning. It was a very good. If those of you who haven't seen it, go take a look at that conversation. They had a really good discussion on stuff. And one of the things we talked about, and I was kind of in the background listening in and chiming in on occasion. And waiting for Soto in free agency is just as risky as waiting to trade for him, because if you pass on, let's just say you wait for Soto and say, you know what, I'm not going to sign Bellinger, I'm not going to sign Jung Ho Lee, I'm just going to wait for Soto, and somehow you miss out on those guys, and then somehow a team, the Padres, come out of nowhere with some ridiculous contract. Somebody makes a ridiculous trade and doesn't make it to free agency. The Yankees just lost out on everybody who they could have brought in. So
yeah.
it's
The
a
Yankees, Yankees need to be very aggressive in what they want moving forward on how to improve this team, whether it is by trade or free agency, because in the last couple of years, ever since 2019, they've been basically dingling certain names out there and never really making a big trade that can help them. With the exception of signing Cole, Judge, and maybe Rodon.
and
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and Rodon, I'm not in his defense, but I think he needs
Well,
to.
Rodon with the money, not as
Yeah.
far as the player.
I think he needs to come into the season in better shape too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was out of shape.
He needs to have a spring training. Is what he needs.
Yeah, you definitely needs to have a spring training, and so do the guys like Peraza and the rest of these guys. That because like to Sunil's point and the Clemence's point, like if we're gonna invest in the youth movement and start investing in these guys long term, we got to give them as much of a chance to play as we did Volpe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, equalize the younger core along with the spread of free agents. So go both ways.
That's what the
Well, I
Braves.
think that's the one reason why Florial never succeeded. They never really gave him a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, and right now, Austin Wells looks pretty good.
Yeah.
I like his kind of the way he carries himself. He has this quiet energy and this maturity
I think Wells could be the long-term starting catcher.
he could be. He'll probably. I think they're gonna move Higashioka and probably platoon him with Jose, if he's not traded.
Oh, okay.
And then Ben Workwood will probably be
How
the
many
top
years did Trevino have left on his contract?
Who?
Jose Trevino?
2.
2 more?
Him and Nestor Cortez have 2 more. So him and Nestor Cortez. And again,
Cortez has got to go back to the pen.
Yeah, I think Cortez is a bullpen piece.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah,
another
especially
one.
you're gonna lose Wandy, so you might as well put Cortez in as what he was before as an opener or middle relief guy,
Yeah.
Sure.
and you got to get one more lefty for the pen.
Yeah. Which I think they will do. They're
Mhm.
very good at getting relievers. Or
I mean, this is kind of off topic, but this is more general MLB related. This is one thing I wish YouTube would get off their nutsack and basically do it. Bring back MLB Network for the love of God, please.
Oh, I know.
We've gone the entire season without it. If you're gonna tell me you're gonna go full hot stove without it, I am so inclined to basically, just go somewhere else. I don't even know which option I'm gonna go with.
I'm going to tell you something. I'm trying right now behind the scenes to get a press credential so I can go to the winter meetings and
Mhm.
cover it.
Mhm.
So I don't know if it's possible, but I'm
All right.
trying to exercise
Oh,
every
why not?
resource I can and contact I can, because if I somehow get a press pass, I'll be there live every day at the winter meetings.
Oh,
Yeah,
right
so
on.
in that case, I can tell MLB, you know what? Tell me, I'm going to scratch my chin a little bit, and take it a little lower, a little lower, a little lower.
I don't need your ass. I got little old Jason here in his YouTube channel winter meetings. So
Yeah.
I
So
don't know if
yeah,
it's gonna happen, but I'm
yeah.
trying.
Do they give press passes to YouTube channels?
I don't know. That's one of the things I'm trying to find out. One of the things I'm
Yeah,
trying
so I would basically tell MLB Network to take their arson aim and shove it up there.
Well, if
look.
you do that, you should take Hector with you to the winter meetings.
Oh, I would.
Yeah, and Jigga.
I mean, they'd have to get press credentials too.
Yeah.
I still don't know how this thing's working out. I've reached out to like a dozen people, and I'm waiting to see if this is even possible. Because if it is, it's going to be a quick turnaround. So
Yeah, get a credential. Don't try to crash it like I did one year when they had it.
I'm
It
just
did,
picturing.
it did not go well.
Is Mazza out there in the chat somewhere? Maybe you and Mazza should work it out together.
I'm just picturing that now. I'm picturing a scene from the Wedding Crashers as if you're going to the
Yeah.
winter meetings.
So we would have Bobby Tats as an Uncle Fester impersonator doing this.
So Brajo says here, Miami wants Glaber. I would trade him. You're going to need a hell of a lot more than Torres and a prospect. All right, Arias.
Yeah, I was suggesting trading Gleyber Torres and in return get back 2 pitchers.
If you could.
I think they should be able to. I think because Glaber's value is still high, his stock is still high. I would ask for 1 starting pitcher and 1 reliever. Honestly,
Yeah, I don't think they need infielders. They have so many in the minors.
yeah.
Yeah, this is where you could add somebody like Ray Sweeney to it, or if you want to add I mean, is Alcantara going to miss next year with Tommy John?
Probably.
Then you can probably add a Johnny Brito or a Randy Vasquez to Gleyber Torres and secure a better trade. They have the depth.
Like Miami is interested in
Maybe Louis
Glaber,
Hill.
but not interested enough to pull triggers on trade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, if you're trading them for those guys in control to get controllable years on the cheap, you just save like $15 million, and you're getting guys with years on the cheap here, which helps.
I wish Kim Heng hadn't left over there for the simple reason that we would do another thing that the Miami Marlins have been notorious for. They traded to basically get who was that manager, the former manager of the White Sox, man. Ozzie Guillen, yeah. Wasn't that Mark Burley a part of that trade too?
No, Burley, I think, was forever a White Sox.
No, I think he had pitched sometime in the Marlins too.
Mark Burley?
I think so.
Let me look that up.
I remember he went somewhere else in addition to the White Sox. But the main point here is how the Marlins traded for a manager. Yeah. How the Marlins traded for a manager, basically, I would have tried to do something to try to get Kim Eng, because right now Kim Eng being out there on the free agent market again, as in a executive perspective, she can basically go to any of the other teams, like maybe even the Mets with under David Stern.
The problem is, I think Hal Steinbrenner still has too much control over the GM to prevent them from making the decision.
I mean, I think if I would love to add Kim Eng here and let her be part of
Yes.
Figure out a way to make it work. And whatever they need to do. So, because I would hate for her to go to a team like Toronto or somebody else or Boston or apparently, but Boston's got 2 guys that they have in their sights already. So, but Eng too also wanted this past year. She wanted Justin Turner, and they overruled her, and they got what's his name? Guy used to be on the Phillies, that infielder. He's with the Mariners, traded to the Phillies.
Mariners traded to the Phillies.
He'll get
Hernandez, not Teoscar Hernandez.
no.
No, he's an outfielder.
Yeah, no. This guy was an infielder.
No.
What do you- It'll come. She wanted Justin Turner.
J.P. Crawford.
No, she wanted Turner. She was overruled. And so, but they also had other things in mind for her. They were just not on the same page.
Right.
But that's, I mean, it's Burley pitched 12 years in Chicago. He went to Miami for 1.
Segura.
Yeah.
Gene Segura.
Gene Segura, that's him.
Yeah.
Segura, thank you, Jonathan. They brought Segura in. She wanted Justin Turner.
Hey, there was this one Philly infielder who went out in spring training onto the season, out for the season. He was a first baseman. I can't remember his name for the Phillies.
Reese Hoskins.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I was thinking. Yeah, he's tore his ACL. I was like, that's a big piece they're missing right now. Unfortunately.
He's a free agent.
Well, the other thing the Yankees don't have in their lineup is a lot of speed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Apart from Volpe.
Volpe, Pavada.
Yeah.
But nobody can run very fast.
Isn't Florial also a speedster?
He's got some wheels.
Yeah.
But
So that's what I'm saying. I mean, basically, this is why I keep bringing up Florial, even though I'm hearing what you guys are saying too. But you gotta stay away from this all power or nothing mentality.
Yes.
You gotta have the even balance, even on offense. I keep talking about balance on pitching. You gotta have balance on offense.
If you remember the 98 team, no player had more than 29 home runs on that team, and 6 tied in them had the batting average over 290.
But they also had a fair amount of extra base hits each, apart from home runs, doubles, triples.
The one thing that Florial is working against him, aside from his trouble hitting at the major league level, he's out of options. I mean, they cannot opt him out. They have to release him or play him full time.
I think he will be released. I think they have other.
But I think with the amount of openings they would have on the outfield right now, with Hicks gone already at the beginning of the year, or rather I should say the middle of the year when he was released, and then you're not going to consistently play IKF out there.
No.
So at this point, what do you have to lose? I mean, Dominguez is out for half the year. So right now, your only staples in the outfield, apart from Judge, are really Oswaldo Cabrera and Florial. Your Bader was basically released in September, so you don't even have him in center.
He won't be back.
You have Stanton, who's really frail at this point. Are you going to be sticking him in the DH spot permanently, or are you going to give him more than a fair share of outfield spots?
Yeah. By the way, Joel.
So
Hey guys.
Hey Joel.
Hey
So
guys.
you don't have a lot of outfielders. So what do you have to lose by not giving Florial his fair share? I mean, if you want to develop some trust on the younger guys, this is your option. I mean, he did have a relatively decent sample set for that final month in September.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to cut down his strikeouts. If he cuts down his strikeouts,
well, that's the moniker across the team. It's not just him.
Yeah, all the Yankees have to cut down their strikeouts.
Yeah.
But
He also needs to work on his fielding because he doesn't do good routes to the ball.
Right.
That's important too. That's a good.
Yeah. So you need to have, you need to have him out there, kind of like with Volpe's mentality. When they told him that, hey, get to spring training in early January or February, whenever it was, back in early 2023. You got to do that same thing with Florial.
Yeah.
I mean, with the way their debt, situation is going on, I honestly don't really see too much opportunity out there for them to get anything other than maybe either a Bellinger or a Soto, because it's pretty clear they're not going to go for both. with the way that's going, if that dictates the flow of the hot stove in off season.
And another thing I would like the Yankees to do more next year, especially with Volpe, is if he gets on base, he should
Mhm.
still be more aggressive on the bases and make the pitcher uncomfortable. He didn't
Well,
steal enough.
thank God we don't have Dylan Lawson anymore.
Do you
True.
think Casey will be back next year?
Oh, Dylan Lawson?
Casey, Sean Casey.
Oh,
They
Casey, I think he will be. I mean, if they're bringing Boone back,
they
and if
offered
they like,
they offered
i- i-
they offered him a deal, but he hasn't agreed to it yet.
yeah, maybe all of those decisions will come maybe right after the World Series.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
I would guess after this season, Casey wants to take a month to think about it and then wait
Yeah,
until the winter meetings.
yeah. Offer him a job also as the mayor of New York too. I mean, he is the mayor by nickname.
What do we got
We
here?
don't want to get into that subject.
What do we
I
think?
know.
He's trading for Brendan Donovan from St. Louis. I keep hearing that name. He's a worthwhile. He's coming off surgery too, so we got to
Mhm.
give him. But he's got 4 controllable years. He's 26 years old. High on base percentage, low strikeouts. So he checks all the boxes that the Yankees need checked.
You think
And-
Yeah.
St. Louis will give him up?
If they get enough pitching, they're desperate for pitching. But you're gonna have to give up probably Schmidt, maybe even Nestor Cortez. Man, a pitching prospect, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I'm okay with giving him Schmidt because I think we can replace him with Michael King.
Hey, who was that Japanese closer that we're talking about? Matsui. What's
Yeah,
his
Yuki.
first name again? Yuki
Yeah.
Matsui. Yeah,
Another guy. Yeah.
yeah.
He-
Because we need a closer. We have nobody at closer. Even as you consider Holmes to be stapled into the role, he gave you just as much inconsistency as Chapman has done in the last couple of years. Because when he's on, he's on. When he's off, the Toms and the Rolaids are in the water again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think Holmes is an 8-inning pitcher.
I think
Yeah.
so.
yeah. Because you need solid heaters. You can't just work with sinkers. I mean, you saw what happened in '86. You had a combination of off-speed Orozco and sinker ball Roger McDowell.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you have to have some sort of a blend of looks, if you will.
Mhm.
Or you can go, or you can go the route that the '90 Cincinnati Reds did, the Nasty Boys. But all 3 of them had heat.
I do hope the Yankees dip into the Japanese market because that is also one thing that is missing. That
Yeah,
the Yankees had I don't know how many years was it from 2003 to like 2 years ago with Matsui and Tanaka.
Mhm.
yeah.
Maybe 1 year in between that,
Yeah.
1 or 2 years in between.
Jason,
I'm-
was it you or somebody else who gave the stat graphic on how Tanaka was doing? I think since he left the Yankees, it's something like 11-15.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's doing okay.
hmm
He's older too. He's doing okay.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think he's past his prime years.
hmm
Not a surprise. So,
hmm
and I'm with NFE. I would be all over Yamamoto. Yamamoto's the number 1 target right now, and I think the Yankees would be wise to lock this guy up in day 1 out of free agency.
You think Yamamoto is similar to Ichiro, a high on base percentage guy?
Yeah, Yamamoto's a pitcher.
Ramona's
Or
pitcher.
the other guy, what's the
You're
other guy?
thinking of Lee. You're thinking of the Korean
Jung
Lee.
Ho Lee. Jung Ho Lee.
Yeah, that guy,
Yeah.
Young Holy.
He's another guy. I mean, he draws a lot of comparisons Ichiro, because
Ichiro?
to his ability to put the ball in place anywhere. Like if it's low, it kind of has that Vladimir Guerrero Sr. thing. Vladimir Guerrero could hit the ball head level and take it deep. Hit the ball off the floor and take it deep. Like I've never seen anything like it. And
Vlad Guerrero Sr. actually hit a ball that was bounced right in front of the plate. People were making comparisons to that between that and cricket,
yeah,
playing cricket. Yeah,
he takes it deep, and he also had the best outfield arm I've ever seen in my life. So
yeah.
but but he draws the same comparisons like a Vlad without that excessive power. Like, but I could still see him feasting on this left field porch. Like,
But
again, he'd be a perfect leadoff guy here for the Yankees.
I could see for Jung Ho Lee. Is he a lefty hitter or righty hitter? I've never watched him.
Lefty.
Lefty. So maybe to me, he might draw more comparisons to Shin-Soo Choo or Steve Kwan from the Guardians.
And look, Quan, I like.
Yeah.
If you get like, let's just say they don't get Soto or Bellinger. Let's say they get. Let's say they get Lee. Let's say they get Lee and trade for Brendan Donovan. Okay.
Yeah.
That's two good pieces to add, because at the end of the day, I think they need to give some protection to Judge, Stanton, and Volpe. Okay?
Yeah.
Volpe's got to continue to develop. He needs to have the right guys around him.
I think if you surround Judge with better players, he will have less stress on his mind. That hopefully he will play better with the less stress.
Yes. And
Exactly.
You know, so I wanted to ask this real quick. So I know we keep talking about the Yankees should trade for Soto. Is Soto enough to improve this team for next year, or is there anybody else that needs to fit this team?
Not by himself.
Okay.
It's got to be more than Soto. Although the long-term effect of having Soto, he's a generational player for a decade here, most likely a decade. But again, Soto enough. He only addresses one position at one time.
Yeah, I have a question because a lot of people are acting, you know, again, I'm not opposed to getting Juan Soto, obviously. I mean, I'd be ecstatic if we had him on the Yankees, but it's just a lot of people are talking like, oh, Juan Soto, and, you know, because we have him, we're automatically just going to go all the way. And it's just like, guys, they need more than Soto, you know.
That's a huge building block. But again,
right.
Getting Soto will dramatically help the offense, but it won't help the starting pitching.
Yeah, and I made.
They need bats other than Soto, though. Is what I'm.
They need a high on base guy like
high batting average, high on base. They needed basically the same type of guy. They need that production that they're missing ever since 2019, 2020, DJ LeMahieu.
Yeah, and the fact is, I would much rather, instead of getting 2 Rolls Royces, I'd rather get 1 Rolls Royce than 3 BMW.
No, not BMW. Trust me, you don't want BMW. No.
Sunil, you're being anal retentive again. He's just giving.
No, I've driven BMW. Trust me, they're the worst pieces of shit you'd ever drive.
I'll take.
He's not asking you to drive the car. Just shut up. Let him finish.
No, you probably want to go Benz over BMW. Trust me.
All right, I'll take. Okay, fine. 1 Rolls Royce, 3 Benzes. My apologies.
There you go. That's better.
So bougie.
I won't go German cars. Period. How about that?
Yeah.
All right. So NFE, what are your wheels of choice then?
My wheels of choice?
Yeah. What are your wheels?
I'm pretty simple, dude. I don't need nothing. I don't need nothing fancy right now. So I drive a little Corolla right now.
Nice.
One Bentley and 3 Tesla Model 3s. How about that? I'll you know.
Actually, that's not Hillel, is it? Is that Hillel?
It's him.
That's him.
Man, Hillel's back in the house. Good, my man. How are you, my friend?
I haven't seen Hillel in a while.
Yeah, him and his Met compadre.
Yeah.
No, I haven't seen them in
like that. The guy I've been giving a hard time to, smacking him around a little bit in Hector's chat, verbally, of course.
So now, I would take the Audi R8 Spider over all those cars. Yeah, I would just be driving.
After the level of trouble and unreliability I've experienced with both Audi and BMW, I would strongly beg to differ.
I would
because German cars are second to American as far as being in the shop all day. But
I
then
would just
again, that's not.
I would just play Bad to the Bone on repeat, and I would just randomly drive around for no reason whatsoever in my car.
Take three of your Volvos and call it a day, along with the Bentley.
There he is. Look who's in the
What's up,
house. Is
guys?
this
How you
Hillel
doing?
in the
Yeah,
house?
Yeah,
what's up?
yeah.
Does Hillel have an afro? You look
I don't
like
know. That looks
Joe,
like a little alfalfa growing on top of there.
Joey McIntyre from New Kids on the Block at like 16 years old.
No,
Hillel, man.
that's like a Doogie Howser kind of look on him.
Good to see you, man. How are you, my
Good to
friend?
see you too. How you guys doing? It's been a while.
We're talking a lot of Yankees here.
Yeah, seriously,
I
guys.
haven't
There's a
I
lot going
haven't
on.
seen you in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I know. It's been a little while. Taking like it's this. I guess this is kind of like the phase where like a lot of like creators kind of like take a little break, chill out a little, especially when your team's out of the postseason.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially when your team has Cashman as a GM. Oops, I'm sorry. Did I say that a little too loud?
Yeah. Give us some. I mean, Hillel, while you're on here, give us your insight. What would be your if you had the chance to be GM for the week? How would you put out your
All
offseason?
right. Sounds good. I really haven't had a chance like I've started like working on my Yankees offseason blueprint like tonight actually. So I was going through a bunch of different ideas. There's a lot of options. I know that everyone was looking at for starters the Cardinals as a trade option. I know you guys were
Mhm.
talking about that a little earlier. That's definitely something that we can look at.
Yes, sir.
There's a lot of options really. You can go. I think there's definitely it starts I'll keep saying this starts and ends with the coaching staff, the front office. You
Yes.
got to figure out what you're going to do with that. I think
Hmm.
everyone's staying as of now, just figuring out the attitude that they're going to have in the clubhouse, the mindset that they're going into. um, I think getting Soto would really set the tone well. That's a big trade. Brendan Donovan, also a huge guy that they can go out and make a move for. I think they need another pitcher also. It really
Hmm.
like we continue to see it. You can never have too much pitching. You look at the Rangers, for example. Imagine they had Jacob DeGrom right now. They'd be loaded. Yet they went out and overspent to get a boatload of pitchers, and and they still have like a solid pitching staff. But if you would have told me you have DeGrom, Scherzer, Evaldi, Montgomery, all these guys at their best right now, I would have said, wow. But then you realize that half these guys get injured. You got to plan for the worst. And I think the Yankees have done a bad job at doing that. And I think if they can come out and do that this season, that's really where they're going to start to succeed.
So how would you position it? How would you fortify the pitching?
For pitching, I'm not sure I see like a ton of options out there. I haven't really gotten a chance to look deep into it. I know a Montgomery reunion is looking possible. If I'm him, I don't want to come anywhere near back to the Yankees. I think there's some tension there,
What if,
obviously, at the end of his
for
tenure.
devil's advocate, hello? What if there was a possibility he did want to, and there was some interest? What's your thoughts on that? Either
Oh,
that or
I
go
think
ahead.
I'd take him back. I'd take him back because they figured out
Hmm.
his fastball over there in Texas. If
Hmm.
I'm him, I want to go back to Texas because
Hmm.
clearly the coach that he's been working with there has made him one of the best pitchers in
I
baseball.
think that's Mike Maddox. Isn't that
Mathematics.
Mike?
Yeah, so if
And
I'm if
next year they'll have a healthy DeGrom and
yeah,
Scherzer for a full year, and it'll be
Next year, Texas pitching will be very
Sure,
difficult.
Yeah, that's my
Scherzer.
prediction. Halal is that I think Monty will sign back with the Texas Rangers.
yeah.
I think they'll give him a contract. My guess is probably I was saying like 100 million for 4 years.
Also, I
Who
think
else
Scherzer.
is on the market for
I
pitchers?
think Monty's also from South Carolina, so that's closer.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's pitched well in the ALCS.
yes, he has.
Yeah, he's looked
So
great.
that has spiked him up a little bit, and would
See
give
the
Texas more
He's probably
incentive
going to
to
get
be
a
kind of.
$100 million plus contract.
Yeah, so he's not coming to the Yankees, so we should just kind of put him aside. But what I'd like to see is, we can't get by with just the outfield or pitching. It's got to be both. I mean,
Right.
that's you know, and so I would do like a Soto and a Kiermaier,
yeah.
and then keep Kiermaier on long enough to help tutor Jason when he's
Dominguez.
ready to come back. and then so you can play him a little bit, then ease Jason back in, and then you've got Kiermaier as a backup outfielder.
But
To
do you
to
think Kiermaier would
rest.
come to the Yankees?
He's already
Oh
said
yeah,
he'll come to the
he's a
Yankees.
he's a 260 hitter. He's a good fielder. He hustles. He would be a real plus to the Yankees, and especially to some of the young kids,
I
because
would take him then.
He
he
did
could
say
share that
publicly.
knowledge.
Yeah, to Joel's point, he said publicly, I think it was last week, that he preferred to stay in the AL East. That's where he's familiar, and he'd be willing to come to the Yankees.
Yep.
So
I mean, I think that's basically saying he wants to come to the Yankees right there.
yeah, I mean,
Because
again, he's not going to cost $20 million a year.
And
Yeah.
then pitching, we go all out for Yamamoto, which would be our big buck expenditure, and then we try to work a deal with Miami, give them Torres and somebody else, and get one or two of the young kid starters, and then we've got Garrett, we've got Yamamoto, you've got Rodon, you've got King.
Cole.
But
If
are
I
you
can,
gonna balance that rotation with another lefty though?
I'm
Well,
sorry,
if
what?
you can get Braxton Garrett from the Marlins, he's a lefty. And like NFE said, what if you get AJ Puck from the Marlins, okay? He's got 3 or 4 controllable years, just like Garrett. You're getting 2 guys on the cheap. Right?
Yeah.
well,
If
you
you
have
can-
2 lefties. You have
If you can
Rodon and you
teach
have
AJ
Cortez.
Puck to throw the ball over the plate, maybe.
What's that?
I think he had a 6 ERA last year.
Who?
Puck.
Puck, something like that. But remember, Clay Holmes had a 5.80 ERA before he came in. He was 250. I'm confident in Mac Blake's ability to make the league.
Do you see a straight up trade with the A's and the Yankees for Puck?
I think it has to be a volume trade. Like I'm gonna trade. Let's just say if it's Puck and Braxton Garrett, you lefty reliever and you lefty starter.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it'll cost Gleyber Torres, probably Randy Vasquez, and Lopez.
Yeah.
Something like that, maybe even a trade. But it would be worth it. All those guys are blocked.
I'd give up Brito before Vasquez.
I would too.
Yeah, I think Vasquez could be a good pitcher.
Mhm.
If I can throw out an interesting idea for you guys, you were bringing up Kiermaier before. So remember that energy we had, I think it was 2021 when we had that whole win streak. Was it 2021?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we had Tim LaCastro. In my eyes, he was kind of the X factor there. Came in late in the game, brought the energy, stole the bases. I think that could be a good Kevin Kiermaier type of role that he can play on this team. If no other bigger role. I think he's that perfect guy, and I think that was a lack of energy that the Yankees were missing. The speed element, the stolen base element. So that's something that I really think could be huge if that happens. And I forgot about Yamamoto. I forgot he's on the market. And I think the Yankees could really develop a relationship there and get something done.
They've gone to Japan twice, Hillel, to see him pitch already.
Yeah.
One of the games was a no hitter. Cashman was there with Omar Minard to witness a no hitter that he threw, which was kind of cool. And to the point about Kiermaier too, Kiermaier is also he's an elite defender like Bader was. So you get that. He's also a lefty. He's a contact hitter. His batting average isn't super high, but he hits in clutch spots. He's a timely hitter, and he feasts in the AL East. So I would rather have him with us beating up on the Blue Jays rather than have him with the Blue Jays beating up on the Yankees. So he'd be a good option. And again, like this is where there's so many options. If the Yankees can't get Soto or Bellinger for whatever reason, if you can get you can get a Lee and a Kiermaier. I wouldn't be like super stoked, but I'd be okay with that.
You cannot let either Jung Ho Lee or Yamamoto go to Fenway.
Else.
Go to Fenway specifically, like Yoshida did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because if you do that, you might as well sign a lease for last place for the next few years.
I think the Yankees are serious about Yamamoto. I mean, you don't have guys like Brian Cashman go to Japan twice to go watch him pitch and say, "Oh, well, never mind, we're not interested." No, they're interested.
Well, you got to realize two things here, NFE. This is the same Cashman who said, one, yeah, we like Gio Urshela, but he's no Josh Donaldson, and he was flat out wrong about that. Number two, he almost let Judge walk for 420 for 10 to San Diego until Hal got into the picture and created the most epic Arson Heyman tweet ever.
Mhm.
Well, like I said on Tats's show yesterday when I co-hosted with him, I think Hal is going to have a lot of say, and he's going to be heavily involved this offseason. I think he's, I think with some of these moves, he's going to be pulling the strings here.
I want
I hate, I hate to bring this comparison in here, but if he has to do that one more time, he might as well wear owner and GM hat similar to how Jerry Jones was doing in Dallas for the
He
Cowboys.
had to bring up Jerry Jones and the Cowboys.
Who the fuck are the Cowboys?
Well, basically, I mean, he's the only one making apart from Stephen Jones, he's the only one making real decisions to bring in players.
So
And he doesn't really have anybody underneath him because he doesn't trust too many other people because he's a high-powered idiot. And that's basically what Cashman is forcing Hal to turn into by making the stupid decisions that he is.
Hal has no choice, then so be it. If it's going to make our team better, then so be it.
Yeah.
But if Jerry Jones was a baseball manager, he wouldn't have hired Omar Minaya.
True.
Yeah.
Right.
And so I think I don't think Hal is cut from the same cloth as Jerry. Leading into that, I mean, am I the only one? I saw a couple of things on Facebook. Has anyone else seen that Hal was supposed to address Yankee fans at some point soon?
Yes.
Yeah, I think.
Wait, he did that already, didn't he? Why are they confused back in July?
No, they're gonna they're gonna do the audit of the team. Okay, and to be clear, that when he said he didn't understand why fans are so pissed, he said that in May, and they were in
I think
second.
he said that in June too, June or July.
He
No,
said
he
it
made-
on Michael
May.
Kay show. He said it in June.
I put out the article on it. It was in May, late May, and they were in second place, and people are still using this as their terrible arguments, making a point like he's still saying that he hasn't said it since May, and he wouldn't say it now. So let's be clear about that. Okay.
I think by the trade deadline,
that's the facts. Put out the article.
I think by the trade deadline, he started to read the writing on the wall, and that's probably why he put the kibosh on all kinds of trades.
Yeah,
he kind of realized it wasn't going to be anywhere anyway.
He's smart enough to know I'm going to look like a dummy now if I say it now, because everybody's going to jump all over me. Which is one reason I think they're waiting until after the World Series when a lot of Yankees fans mentally check out for a little while. And that's when they're going to do their audit and talk and address this and that and this and that. Was like nobody around, so they can.
I can tell you, I follow the Yankees throughout the year, so I'll be paying attention.
Yeah,
I'm going to cover it. I'm going to cover it no matter what. So, but I think that I can't confirm that, but I think that's what they're doing. Okay, and Carl has a point here too, and Carl had a question too. The old Yankees would get Soto. I agree 100%. I don't trust the Yankees. It's definitely a different Yankees. Okay, I'm right about that. But here's a question: if the Yankees get outbid for Yamamoto, can Yamamoto still pick? Oh yeah, he can pick whoever he wants. Like Judge, the Yankees were outbid by the Padres last year, but he picked the Yankees.
Yeah.
When it comes,
you're not required to pick the highest bid. Their agents want them to, because that's the most lucrative offer for them and the agent. But they can choose whoever they want. So.
I could somehow picture the whole Hal addressing the Yankee fan conundrum, basically looking like something from what I saw yesterday when I was watching that new Netflix release of the movie Old Dads with Bill Burr, addressing a whole audience of school parents about foul language he basically used in front of a very mellowed down audience. Basically, he calls somebody a stumpy little C, and you can imagine what C is in the female context.
Yeah.
So yeah, If you got to watch the movie, I'm not gonna spoil it further. But I could somehow figure the whole Hal Steinbrenner addressing the Yankee fan audience to look something like that.
So Bryce
It's
said
gonna
he
be it's
Zoom.
gonna be very awkward silence, basically.
And he said he might do it on Zoom, so he's not addressing live reporters. So I don't know how it's going to be. I don't know. We'll get when it happens, when we get intel on it, we'll definitely put it out. Like JJ saying here that Steve Cohen wants to buy championships so badly he'll write a blank check to Soto, Snell, Hader, Yamamoto, Lee, and Bellinger. He could.
I
He
don't.
did
I don't think
early.
he's. I don't think he's going to do that again. I
He's
think.
not
I
gonna
think
do
he
it
got
again.
burned this last season, and I don't.
Yes.
I don't see him writing a blank check like that.
Writing
Steve
all the blank checks that he wrote didn't even get them in the playoffs. So
Like
no,
I
Steve
see
that's
him
Cohen.
going hard after he won Soto and Josh Hader, but not Blake
Mhm.
Snell, not Yamamoto, not Lee, not Bellinger. I think they're going to focus more on like one or two guys that they can get in
Mhm.
free agency,
I agree.
which is actually smarter than writing blank checks for an entire team.
Yeah, I have a
Steve Cohen has to realize the most important thing is not financial capacity, but it is more the chemistry and the ability for members of the team to cohere together. You
Mhm.
have to have the right blend and mix. Financially, that doesn't always, get achieved.
Yep.
yeah, I have a
Well, what I
feeling.
want to
Agreed.
know is is our Japanese executive living
Mm,
over in Japan right now
mm,
and bending the
Hope
ear of
so.
Yamamoto because that's
mm,
where he should be. If we really want him, that's the guy that needs to be there.
I hope so.
mhm.
I
Yeah.
bet. But that's
There's a
exactly what he's doing.
So here, speaking of Japan, another question from Carl. He's asking the good questions here. I thought the Japan team had to get the money to let their player to go. Okay, so there's an age requirement that Japanese players need to hit to be eligible for free agency. If they want to come to the major leagues and get posted early before they hit that age, then that's when the major league team pays that posting fee to the Japanese
Yeah.
team. So it's 20
Yeah.
million, whatever that posting fee is. That's the only time a major league team has to pay that is to get a guy to come here early before that age. I think it's 25, if I'm not mistaken.
thought
It
it
might
was
be
20.
whatever it is.
Hey,
But if it,
Jason, my phone battery's about to die, so I'm gonna bounce.
all right, Dr. Pickleball, always good to have you on, my man.
All right.
Always good to have you on. And I'll wrap it up in a few minutes anyway. But Sunil, pleasure,
All
brother.
right.
Pleasure.
Take
All
care,
right. Bye.
Shin.
Jason, I have a couple points to make. On
Go ahead,
Blake
man.
Snell, I think he'd be a great option. Also, I think he's going to be an expensive one, no doubt. But he's also a great option for either of the teams. You brought up like you
I
brought up
didn't
a
hear
little while
what you said.
ago,
What player?
Blake Snell.
Blake
Like
Snell. The next 3 weeks are after the postseason is kind of like the break that everyone takes. Everyone will step aside, and then all the news will start to flow in once the winter meetings begin.
You know
So
what's
that
crazy?
those
How
three
old is
weeks you
Blake
could take
Snell?
advantage of.
Blake Snell's 30.
Yeah, see, I'd rather go for the younger Yamamoto than Snell.
Yeah.
I would
I think Snell was drafted. You remember the 2011 draft? The Yankees got Dante Bichette Jr.
Yeah.
Snell was the next pick.
Next pick. Yep. I remember
So
that.
Blake Snell seems
the
like
Yankees had Snell free out there to get instead of Dante Bichette Jr.
Yep.
he seems like a carbon copy of a Carlos Rodon type of situation to me. And I think he's gonna end up going to the Mets. I feel like he's that type of pitcher, on and off, different starts, different seasons. I feel like he's that type of pitcher. When it comes to the Mets, it's like they're putting different types of guys, different pieces of the puzzle together. They're not putting the right pieces of the puzzle together. They're giving them some of the pieces. They're giving them a mix of everything, but not a mix of the right things. So that's something that I think the Mets should work on this offseason of rather than conducting a good roster, conduct a good team. Find a group of guys that will form together and play well together, not just a roster that looks great on paper, that
That is
you're
true.
going over your budget making that statement. You got to find the right group of guys that are going to sit in the clubhouse, that are going to have good chemistry together. Because you have Buck Showalter there who seemed to not. I don't want to speak for anything, but
I
it
thought
seemed like he
Showalter got
didn't run a good
fired.
clubhouse there.
I
And
thought
But
that's
that's why
Showalter got left to go.
that's
Go
why
ahead,
you
Jim.
need to go after people that want to be here. So, for instance, Kiermaier, he wants to be a Yankee. I think for a fill-in player that we need, he's a good pick. He's not expensive to get. And he serve a purpose playing center field until Dominguez is ready.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, he could really work well with the younger players.
Yep. And to Joel's
And
point too, he would be better than Bowers, McKinney, Franchi.
Bowers,
Yeah.
McKinney, and Frenchie
well,
Cordero.
Franchi, I think is gone. I don't think he's going to.
These
Yeah, I
are
think
all
what he
Plan
did.
C options
I
for
think
the
they're all going to get
Yankees.
non-tendered, which will save Yankees some money. But like to Hillel's point too, the right players, and I think that I'll credit Steve Cohen for having the foresight to trade a lot of these guys when he
Yeah.
did, because he wasn't working. He got some good prospects, and he brought in a new president of baseball operations, right, a GM. So I think he's probably bringing in the people who understand this better, and they're going to be a little bit more strategic, I think, this offseason, instead of just signing everybody to the big deals, because that doesn't guarantee anything. Which is
Well,
why I think it's the same logic with the Yankees. We can't just sign all the big guys and expect to win the hope. That's not the way it works.
Yeah.
The right guys is important.
hindsight's 2020. But I never understood Showalter with that team of a bunch of high-priced free agents. I mean, that was one of the things that he ran into trouble with in Texas, where he was having to get along with A-Rod and he couldn't get along with A-Rod. I think Showalter's better with young players. Showalter's better with kids just coming out of the minor leagues. And so, yeah, I mean, I hate to see that for him because I've always been a Showalter fan, but I never understood why the Mets made that move.
Yeah. Carl, thank you for coming on too. And Carl, reach out to me if you don't mind. I'd love to have you on my running channel, and we could talk about training and whatnot. But I'd love to pick your brain and chat with you. Do me a favor and send me an email if you don't mind, blackbeltrunningcoach@gmail.com. I'd love to get in touch with you and let's touch base and maybe talk some training and stuff like that if you're up for it. So, and kudos. This is coach for CBA, which is Christian Brothers Academy in Lincroft, New Jersey, one of the best high school running teams in the United States. That's the coach. So, right there, Carl, kudos to you. Thank you, man, for coming on. Thank you for being a Yankee fan too. That's kind of awesome too. So, but guys, yeah, I mean, it's you're right too. Like Buck Showalter would probably be a good fit with the Baltimore Orioles team right now.
Yeah.
Young, scrappy team with a lot of
I don't
talent.
think they want to get rid of their manager. Like I don't
think so either. I don't think so
They
either.
have no reason to run away from him.
And maybe they Steve Coleman thought a guy with his experience would probably be the right fit to manage this vast array of personalities and egos and whatnot and talent. And he did the best he could, but it just didn't work out. But again, it's like I'd say the same thing with the Yankees. Like I don't think it would have mattered who the manager was. They weren't going to take him to the World Series this year.
It didn't have the team.
The Mets. I don't think there's any manager that would have taken the Mets to the World Series.
Yeah, the Yankees didn't have a World Series team this year.
Yeah, neither did the Mets.
No.
And it just goes to show that money doesn't.
The Mets made some smart decisions trading Verlander and Scherzer. The Yankees did
some good prospects. They got some
Well,
good
yeah.
prospects.
Did nothing.
That's what I was jealous of the Met fan base when Cohen did all that, because it's like they have an owner who kind of gets it, who understands that their team isn't going to get it done this year, so let's start getting rid of guys. And I was waiting for Steinbrenner to make that, and I never thought that Steinbrenner or Cashman would ever start saying the things that they said, and so it actually did my heart good when Cashman admitted that the season has been a disaster. So
Yeah, and he was. Yeah, and I don't know why he was blocked by Hal for making some of these trades, and then Hal wanted some of the young kids to hear. So, and then you kind of put the two pieces together.
Right, at the same time, you could have made those trades and got some more young kids, and maybe help them better for next year.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. The problem, we don't know all the behind the scenes stuff, so we can only go by what we know, right? So.
I remember when like the Mets were like making all these moves. I was like going back and forth with my friends, like, "Oh my God, it's gonna be a long season. That's gonna be great. What are the Yankees doing?"
Yeah.
It was definitely a roller coaster of an off season. This past off season, both teams have a lot to do. I think both teams have a lot of potential as usual. And like even this postseason, like get to the ALDS and like talking to some of my friends, I'm like. I mean, it seems like almost a certain. Every year, the Yankees are in the postseason. Every year I've been following, the Yankees get in the postseason, and then it's just like, wait, I'm filling out my bracket, and the Yankees aren't on there. It just doesn't feel right. It's almost like
It's
a
different.
default that they're going to be in there.
it's different, and like the way I look at it too, like we're a difference from Texas Rangers or the Cincinnati or whatever. Yankees have just as passionate fans, but add 10 beehives over their thing, and you have all these bees stinging them constantly. That's the fan base of the Yankees, right? It's a constant attacking and feisty fans, opinionated, well-informed fans. You're having to deal with this a lot of bees and hornets or whatever you want to call it, wasp nest and whatnot. So it's a different fan base here. It's a
Yeah.
and this is where I appreciate it. Like in Philly, I appreciate it too. And the Yankees, they let you know whether they like you or not right away. You know, there's no pretentious stuff. You know whether they like you or not. Man, that's something that I think I appreciate very much. I may not always agree with it, but I appreciate it very much.
Yeah, guys.
So,
I'm gonna head off, Jason. I'm gonna head off. I'm gonna start to get back into all this stuff, Jason. I'll shoot you a text later. Hopefully, we can get something going this offseason. We'll figure it out.
good, dude. Thanks for
Alright.
coming on, man. Pleasure having you back, man.
Yeah, good to see you. We'll be in touch.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Be
All
well.
right, take care. Hello.
Bye.
Yeah, I'll wrap this up in a minute, too, guys. We've been on for like an hour and a half already. So, but this is good stuff. This is a good conversation. I appreciate all your insights here. Again, like, and you're all chiming in on the stuff that I talked about with you guys and Bobby, and like, and if you guys haven't seen, honestly, if anybody in the chat hasn't seen the chat with NFE and Tech yesterday, take a look at it. It's very, very insightful. And I mean, I've been thinking about what you guys talking about in terms of retiring numbers and value of it. One, I can't stop thinking about it. Well, I want to have you guys on so we can talk about it. I know you can do your thing too. So I think that'd be a great conversation.
I'm always free. I don't have my own
I'm-
channel.
I'm going to. Oh, go for it, Joe.
I said I left you my comment about A-Rod, so I did respond to your thing this morning.
Yeah, I mean, for those that haven't heard, A-Rod voiced his displeasure not having his number retired and then having it basically dormant for a couple of years and then reopened again by Joey Gallo, number 13.
I
And
heard that.
but his legacy is his legacy with the Yankees. He won 2 MVPs here. It was great, but he's also had his many bonehead moments. Got popped for a year, and then he sued the Yankees, who suspended him without pay.
Did they retire O'Neill's number yet?
Paul O'Neill, they did.
Yeah.
That's a good thing because I remember the last time they gave it to one pitcher a couple of years ago, and the fans hated it so much that he had to switch it out the next day. I forget what pitcher that was.
They changed it to like 22, I think, the next day.
Yeah. But who was that pitcher?
I'm blanking on it though.
A Dominican pitcher because he got it because of Clemente. He asked for it because of Clemente.
Oh,
It was.
was it?
Not Sevy, right?
No,
Was
no.
No.
Was there a Contreras? No.
It was Cuban.
Maybe Vizcaino. Luis Vizcaino.
Cuban.
I think it was Luis Vizcaino.
Vizcaino? Okay.
I think so.
And
But
honestly,
Jason, I want to add one more thought if I can, to go back to what I think is part of our problem. And that is our senior leadership, our management structure, and I'm talking about above Boone, from Cashman on up, they are not on the same page.
no, they're not.
And unless the audit can come up, unless the audit is going to be a true audit, which I have my doubts on based on them,
Same here.
fixing the cafeteria and the other things that, they came back with as their initial recommendations. So I'm leery if it's going to be a true audit and taking a look at what the F is wrong with the team and the structure. Besides the fact that we had shitload of issues on the field with players and injuries and all that kind of stuff, will they take a look at why are our players getting injured? Why is this happening? Why is that happening? Unless someone really does a deep dive into what are the issues that the team is facing, that needs to come out of the audit.
Yeah.
Because if they don't get to the bottom line of those things, then it doesn't matter who they bring on board. we're going to have the same kind of issues repeating over and over again.
I agree. They have to figure out a way to prevent injuries.
Yeah. And honestly, I don't expect them to be super transparent with us as fans. Tell us
Of
everything.
course.
But I think honestly, I think they need to be transparent with each other. They need to be like take a serious approach on addressing this problem. I don't care if you tell us after the fact, but like we as fans would appreciate knowing that you're trying to rectify some of these problems and taking serious steps. Like Cohen, he didn't hesitate. He took steps immediately. He did it, and that's one reason. That's probably one reason he's worth $16 billion. Businessmen of his stature make those hard decisions, right? So we need our people to make similar decisions. And this is the Yankees. I mean, we need them to make hard decisions. We need them to, they want to make the team better. They need to. They're going to keep being pushed by the fans who want them to show them.
Honestly, it's very hard for me to think that Hal will do that as long as he's making money.
Well, that's the other thing too.
If he starts to lose money, then I think he will make hard decisions. But as long as he's making money, he has no incentive to improve the team.
I think to your point too. I mean, I was talking about this last time, Bobby, that they're hitting a certain threshold where investors are happy and whatnot, and at what point do they want to exceed that or whatever in such a way? And I think, but we've said this too. Like there is, in my opinion, there's nothing more profitable than winning a championship in New York.
No.
Right? If you keep going deep into the playoffs, you get these playoff shows, you get more money coming in, and why would they not want to do that?
I would be very interested to see what the Simon and the sisters have to say rather than Hal.
Guys, I just wanted to give some breaking news. The Phillies won 6-1.
They're up 3-2 going back to Philly. All right.
Yep. So Zach Wheeler dominated. They hit like 3 homers. So yeah, the Phillies look good tonight.
Zach Wheeler was another player a while back that I think the Yankees should have signed.
And Jason, I know we talked about the numbers being retired, so I'm gonna go down the list of Yankee players whose numbers were retired, and I'm gonna talk with Tats and see. And I would love your opinion too, and see, should their numbers have been retired or not.
I have it all.
You better not touch number 7.
No, I say number 1 should have never been retired. Number 1 and number 44.
1 and 44. Okay.
1 and 44 for me. Those 2 numbers should have never been retired.
Okay.
I think Billy was a sentimental retirement.
Sentimental, yes. He died because he was drunk driving. What else did he do?
He put up a Steinbrenner.
What about Reggie Jackson? He was here 5 years and he
that's
had
right.
one game where he hit 3 home runs.
No, but he set the record for being fired more times than anybody else.
And that's a reason to get your number retired? Why not put him in the Hall of Fame?
It's a record, Jonathan.
Yeah, so is striking out more times than anybody else, which is Reggie Jackson. Is that a Hall of Fame number? Reggie Jackson has the most strikeouts by a batter ever. The only thing that kept him into the Hall of Fame is he hit 500 home runs at the same time. His numbers are not Hall of Fame numbers, in my opinion.
All right, I got to be the referee. Break it up, guys. Come on, let's go.
Well,
back to corners.
He's in 2 movies. Anybody know?
I can't. I didn't hear you.
What was that?
He was in 2 movies. Anybody know what movies that were there? Reggie?
Wasn't it Angels in the Outfield? Oh, what? A baseball movie?
It was, and that's 3. But Naked Gun and Summer of Sam.
And Reggie Jackson was in a baseball movie.
Maybe it was Angels in the Outfield. I mean, that would be 3. But Naked Gun, obviously, if you haven't seen Naked Gun, you got to see Naked Gun. Because he was hired to kill the queen, Reggie Jackson. So, and then Summer of Sam, if you haven't seen that one.
I haven't seen those.
The Yankees were a big part of that movie.
But getting back to NFE, you're not going to change 2 through 7.
I like
No.
it.
Listen, I'll
No,
make one.
I'm just saying that if we're evaluating numbers, I can't see 2 through 7 being
2
changed.
through 8.
Okay, 2 through 8 being changed.
without people rioting.
I
Yeah.
probably would still do number 9 because of Roger Maris' 61 game.
Yeah, and I'm not, and we're definitely not touching number 2. I mean,
And we're not touching Thurman Munson either.
Well, you
right?
can't touch 3 because you can't touch the Babe. 4 is
Nope.
Lou Gehrig. 5
Whatever.
is DiMaggio.
Right?
6 is
6 is
Torrey.
what, Torrey? So maybe that's questionable.
He's a manager.
No, I know, but that's what I'm saying because he's a manager and not a player. But just possible
Whatever
question.
whatever number Judge is wearing, put that one to the side.
Yeah.
99.
Well, yeah.
And don't worry, Joe, we're not going to mess with Mickey Mantle.
No, I was being facetious. I didn't think you were. But at this rate, though, and the thing behind it is, we're going to be at triple digits soon if we don't figure out a way to unretire or
Well,
change these numbers.
we still don't have anyone wearing number 0 unless Herman is wearing
Well, unless what's his name?
Herman.
No, the guy who Ottavino comes back because he was
Ottavino.
number 0.
Yeah, he was 0 here. That's right.
But eventually we're gonna have to do triple digits.
Well, all I know is I'm looking forward to having a discussion with NFB and this is going to be a good
I'll
one.
try to be in the
Check
chat.
out for that. I'm excited for that one.
That's going to be really good. And again,
Yeah.
get all the perspectives and that's going to be fire. That's going to be a fire video. So be really good stuff. But let me let you go, guys. I appreciate you coming on. Going an hour and 30. I just heard my wife scream yes. So she's pumped with the Phillies won. And
Oh my
like,
God!
Well,
The
I guess you'll
the
sleep
Trojans
well.
are coming back.
who is?
SC is coming back.
Who are they playing, Joel?
They're playing Utah. They're down by 5, and they just had a kickoff return, a punt return of like 50 yards.
Nice.
So
USC
they're inside the 20.
USC or SC?
Well, USC and SC are the same thing. University of Southern California.
South Carolina is SC, isn't it?
No, South Carolina tried to use USC also, but they got slapped in the hand,
Oh,
so
I know.
they can't use it.
USC got their asses kicked by Notre Dame last week. Ooh,
Yeah, big time.
Oh, dang.
So that's why this game right now is critical.
Well, you see Alabama? They were down 20-7. They came back and won 34-20. They just
They're
went
insane.
on a tear in the second half. So they went on a tear. Crazy. But guys, appreciate you guys. You guys are the best.
Thank you.
The best. So I appreciate you.
I look forward to more open panels with you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
just
shit.
jumping on
He
these.
made it.
What's that, Joel?
Touchdown SC.
All right.
Good for them.
They're up 32-31,
Hmm.
waiting for the extra point with a minute and 46 to go.
Damn. Colorado's off this week, huh?
Yeah, Colorado's off this week. They play UCLA next week.
Cool.
And for the record, I don't, just so everybody's aware, I don't really have a team that I favor in college football because there's so many college football teams. I just want to see some good games. You know, that's the thing with me. But it is the buzz is loud, especially in Boulder with Deion being the coach, man. It is
differently. He's got him playing differently.
So check out our website I sent you in the private chat.
I will, Jonathan. I will, man.
Thank you.
Well, man, appreciate you, brother.
No, I always love jumping on here, Jason, with you, and so it's always great to come on here and chat with you guys. So you guys are awesome.
You guys have a great night, man.
Good
Enjoy
night.
the rest of your weekend, and peace and love to all these. And I'll talk to you next time.
All right, guys, have a good weekend.
Gang.